You know, in the heart of one of the world's most ancient cities, there stands this incredible structure of stone and spirit. It's seen more than 1,000 years of history unfold. It's a place of prayer, sure, but it's also a powerhouse of learning and a symbol of a truly enduring legacy. Today, we're going to step inside the walls of Al-Azhar Mosque. Okay, I want you to picture this. You're walking through the old streets of Islamic Cairo. The morning light hits the limestone walls and they just glow, this amazing honey gold color. You can smell frankincense and cedar in the air, and all around you there's this quiet shuffle of slippers on stone floors and this soft, constant murmur of the Quran being recited. That is the feeling of Al-Azhar. It's a place that just commands your respect from the very second you arrive. So to really get what Al-Azhar is all about, we've got to go way back. I mean, all the way back to the very beginning, to the founding of Cairo itself and the dynasty that made this city its grand capital. All right, so let's set this scene. We're talking the 10th century here. The Fatimid dynasty has just taken over Egypt, and they decide to build a brand new capital, Cairo. And one of the very first things they do, by order of the Caliph himself, is build this mosque. It was the first one in the city, and let me tell you, it wasn't just a building, it was a massive statement of power and faith. Just let that date sink in for a second. 972 AD. I mean, we're not just talking about some old building. This is an institution that has stood and watched over 1,000 years of prayer, of fiery scholarly debates, of massive political changes. It was built to be a symbol of Fatimid power, and you know what? It has outlasted entire empires. And the name itself, wow, it's just beautiful. Al-Azhar. It means the radiant or the splendid. And it's thought to be a tribute to Fatima, who was the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. Now, the Fatimids trace their own lineage back to her, so the name connects the mosque right to the very heart of who they were. But of course, anything that stands for a millennium doesn't say exactly the same, right? It grows, it changes, and every single layer of its walls becomes like a page in a living history book. So let's take a closer look at how that history is written in stone. This quote right here, it just nails it. A palimpsest. What is that? Well, it's an old manuscript page where the original text was scraped off so it could be used again, but you can still see faint traces of what was there before. And that is the perfect way to describe Al-Azhar's architecture. The Fatimids laid the foundation, but then came the Mamluks, then the Ottomans, and each one added their own chapter in stone, without totally erasing what came before. And you can see it so clearly right here. Look on the left, that beautiful prayer niche. The mihrab, that's original Fatimid work. It's over 1,000 years old, with that incredible, distinct Kufic script. But then, look to the right, that towering, super ornate minaret, that was added by the Mamluks hundreds of years later. Two totally different styles, two different eras, living together perfectly in one place. Honestly, walking through this place is like a treasure hunt through history. You can look up and spot 5 different minarets, each one built by a different dynasty. You see these huge domes that are meant to symbolize the heavens. You can stand in this vast central courtyard, held up by more than 300 ancient marble columns, and just be surrounded by walls that are themselves works of art, covered in stunning calligraphy. And the detail, it's just mind-blowing. I mean, look closely at this stucco work. Those aren't just random patterns. You've got these fluted sunburst medallions, these deep recessed niches. This is this profound mix of incredible artistic skill and deep spiritual symbolism, carved right into the walls for everyone to see. But you know, the story of Al-Azhar isn't just about the building. Not at all. The real soul of this place, it's not in the stones. It's in the knowledge that has filled these halls for century after century. So that's the real question, isn't it? What was it that turned Al-Azhar from just a monument into this living, breathing institution? What gave it a pulse that you can still feel today? Well, its whole purpose began to evolve. It started as a mosque, of course, but pretty quickly, we're talking by the year 989, it was already a hub for teaching. Now, its role kind of waxed and waned, but it was firmly reestablished as a major center for learning by the Mamluks. And then in the 20th century, it exploded into a modern university, teaching everything you can imagine. It is, without a doubt, one of the oldest degree-granting universities in the entire world. And you can still feel that spirit of learning everywhere. This is a place where the sacred and the scholarly have always gone hand in hand. You can still see students sitting in quiet corners, debating philosophy and theology over the clinking of tea glasses. just like they've been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's a truly living tradition. And that tradition, it doesn't just stay within these walls. Oh no. The influence of Al-Azhar is absolutely global. Its graduates have gone on to lead schools and universities all over the world, taking its unique philosophy of education with them and shaping Islamic scholarship for generations. So, when you start to put all these pieces together, the deep history, the incredible architecture, the centuries of scholarship, you really begin to feel the true weight of Al-Azhar's legacy and what it means today. It's more than just a historical site. It's this deep well of history and culture that's woven into so many different layers of identity. For millions of people, it's a touchstone for what it means to be Egyptian, to be Arab, and to be part of the global Islamic community. It really embodies all three. And I think this quote just says it all, doesn't it? In a world that is always changing, Al-Azhar represents continuity. It's been this steady, unwavering beacon, holding fast to its mission of protecting and advancing both faith and learning, decade after decade, century after century. And as the daylight fades, and you hear the call to prayer echo across the city, the minarets of Al-Azhar are still there, keeping watch. They are this enduring, unshakable presence on the Cairo skyline, a constant reminder of a millennium of history and a bridge that connects a very deep past to a future that's still unfolding. And that really leaves us with something to think about, right? What is it about certain places that lets them become so much more than just buildings? How does a foundation of stone and a pillar of faith become the actual anchor for an entire culture and manage to stay a radiant beacon for over 1,000 years?